Unless you're in the Chinese market or you understand Chinese, there's no need of installing this distro. Morning, my friends. Another day, another distro. So let's look at what we have here. So we got this different distro. It's called Ubuntu Kylin, and as you can see already, it's in, even the website is in Chinese first. This distro is based on the current Ubuntu, which is Ubuntu 25.10. You can see it says easy, excellent, expert, and elaborate. And as you can tell from the initial language, which is Chinese, this distro is targeted for Chinese people or the Chinese audience particularly. Now, you can get the ISO from over here. The latest one, as I mentioned, is Ubuntu Kylin 25.10. So this is how it should look like. If you want earlier versions, they are all available. Now let's jump into the virtual machine and see what it is all about. We are ready to log in, so I already have it installed on a virtual machine. So let me log in and then we can look at the system requirements for the installation if you're interested in trying it out. Now, the install requirements are as follows. You need at least 4 GBs of RAM, a 2 GHz processor, and at least 25 GBs of disk storage. That's the minimum. The recommended one for the RAM is 8 GB, and any processor higher than 2 GHz, and for the storage 50 GB and above. Now, what I have here is the Mate desktop with Ubuntu Kylin. Let's head over to settings first and see the specs of the system. So I'm going to click over here and go to about, and you can see the version is Kylin Linux desktop. It's written here Yukui, the host name, and the Linux kernel here is 6.17.0-5 generic. You can see my processor there and the RAM. So the desktop here is Yukui, but you might notice the name Mate written all over the place. So this still looks like Mate desktop, or at least is based on Mate desktop. So that's the settings. There's user information right there. The display, I've configured mine to the resolution of my desktop. You can see it's 1360 by 768. The other part of the desktop settings are just the usual stuff, the usual things you expect on a GNOME desktop. Let's look at themes. And one thing you'll notice about the theme here is like this section looks a bit transparent. Let me drag it so you can see. You can see when I move, this part remains a bit transparent or translucent, if I may say, but the other part is all blacked out. That's because I've chosen the dark theme. If I switch over to the light theme, you'll notice everything, this part turns white and this one is still a little bit transparent. You can also opt to pick the auto, where it will change from light to dark at sunset, and then in the morning to revert back to from dark to light. We have the icon themes here. You can choose the Yukui, the classic, or the Heian. We have the cursor themes right here, the dark sense, Adwaita, blue, crystal, and many more. Now, in terms of effective settings, we have performance mode, which is enabled, and here comes the transparency. So the transparency of this one, you can adjust it from here. So for instance, if I decide to drag it all the way to the end, so this one becomes non-transparent, so it's totally dark. If I drag it all the way to the beginning, it becomes totally transparent, or to a large extent very transparent. So but I prefer it to be in the medium. Let's go to wallpapers. So here you can change the wallpapers. There are a couple of wallpapers available. The default one comes with this one, which is I didn't like, so I changed it to this one. Now let's go to panels, and we have this taskbar at the bottom, and you can decide how you want it to be. So you can increase it to medium, and you can make it large, but I think the small one is good enough. In fact, if it could be smaller than this, even better. Then we have the taskbar position, so you can have it at the bottom, you can move it to the top or to the right or to the left. Let's keep it at the bottom as it is. And then there's the option to auto hide. Alright, so you hide it. When you drag the mouse pointer right there, it pops up. And you can also decide to lock the panel. Now let's look at what other things this distro comes with. We have this Kylin Assistant. Now looking at this one for a moment, it reminds me of Android apps. Android app used to be called the 360 cleaner on smartphones, that is used to clean junk files, and that was a long time ago. So seeing it on a PC brings some memory. So, and it does the same thing. So you have the trash icon right there, and then you can scan over here. On the left here we have home. The current version is this one, and the common toolbox. Now you go to cleaner, it can clean system cache, cookies, and history trace. Then we have system info, and here you can see your system information, computer info, the model, the serial number. I'm running on virtual machine, so KMU, the kernel, and the OS name right here. On the left here you can see the specific information of your system. So for instance, if I pick on the motherboard, the memory, the CPU, all the information, specific information, will be displayed right there. And then finally we have the toolkits, and here we see there is the Kylin Software Center. This is just the GNOME Software Center, but this one is specifically for Kylin. Is it any difference? Not really, just different naming and maybe a variety of software that's available for the target audience. And upon opening it, you're once again reminded that this distro is for the Chinese speaking market. Right, you can see all the icons of the Chinese language. All these are in Chinese and Chinese and Chinese everywhere, but the softwares are the same. You have Gparted, GIMP, and a few others over here. Then from discovery, softwares, drive and such, it's just a normal PC software center. I would say the GNOME Software Center, but in this case they call it the Kylin Software Center. Let's look at the system monitor, and this similar to the GNOME system monitor, and here you can see the CPU usage. Right now it's a bit idle, the usage is very low. Now for the memory, you can see I have 4 GB of RAM, and we also got another 4 GB of swap memory. If you have 4 GB RAM, you create a swap partition of 4 GB to complement that and make it 8. So now you can see the usage is pretty low. That's because not many apps are running. Now let's look at the file system, and here I had 2 partitions, just one for the boot EFI and the second one for the system, just to make the installation very simple. System monitor, we have the system shredder or something, a function that cleans trash and cache. So that's it with the Kylin Assistant. I was thinking this could be something to do with AI assistant or anything, but looks like it's just an app to help you clean up trash files and look at your system information. Nothing much to it. What else do we have? The software store is just the same one we looked at. System a software updater. This is just the usual software updater that's available for Ubuntu. So you click it and it checks whether you have an update for your system. The rest here is just the usual softwares for the system. You remember I mentioned mate, and here you can see we have the mate terminal. So why would they call it a Yukui and then have a mate terminal here? So there's some aspect of mate desktop incorporated in this. Now I don't have a connection right here, so I can't run any of HOSS or fast fetch. So here's the desktop, just a few apps on the desktop. We have the computer and the file manager, and as you can see, the transparency is also applied to the file manager as well. This is the normal file manager. So this is the Yukui menu. You can see we have LibreOffice installed. We also get the mate system monitor, the one we just saw earlier, and on the right here we have the shutdown button. You can see suspend, lock screen, log out, restart, and so forth. Next to the start button we have workspaces. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 workspaces. We have the file manager and software store. Is there anything special about this distro? No, it's just a different version, the same version of Ubuntu 25.10, but with a lot of Chinese language infused into it. In fact, during installation, when you boot into a live session, everything comes in Chinese. Even the installer comes with Chinese, so you have to select English to proceed with the installation in English. Otherwise, you can do nothing with it. So unless you're in the Chinese market or you understand Chinese, there's no need of installing this distro. If you're going to install it and then change the language to English, yes, you will have English, but you will also encounter Chinese every now and then, especially the software store. So if you're not in the Chinese market, stick to the usual Ubuntu. If you're in the Chinese market or you understand Chinese, then give this one a try. That's my thoughts on this distro. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. See you in the next one.